A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of the show. I'm here, me, Adebayo. Well, tonight, a lot of exciting things to talk about. The UEFA Champions League draw will get us talking. We'll talk about the teams. We'll talk about things happening on the domestic scene as well. We'll take a look at football. We'll take a look at the National Youth Games. We'll talk about all of that for you. We'll talk about women's football. We'll also talk about the things happening on the domestic scene. And of course, we have a special on basketball. I won't let the cat out of the bag just yet. Maybe my colleague will do that, but I won't do that just about now. So that's the outlook of the show. You already know it's a two-man show. My colleague Austin Okonakpan is suited and ready as we go along on this ride.
What a greetings to you, Yemi, and of course everyone joining us on the show tonight. Always an action-packed auto sports. The draw for the UEFA Champions League has been done, and that one definitely is leading conversations right here in the United Kingdom. Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester City, Liverpool, Aston Villa, and Newcastle. Is this the year for the English teams to rule Europe once again because of their numerical strength? We'll get to see. I like the conversation we'll be having today, particularly because it's tied around grassroots basketball development. I will still leave it to you because the guest is with you right there in Lagos, but that should, be an exciting conversation because with everything that we've seen the D Tigers doing, that is, one area that we need to build a system and keep it active so that we keep producing, future stars. And also the Super Falcons. I mean, when I saw the draw, a lot of the conversations as regards the next WAFCON, I said, look, after winning a record 10th WAFCON title, the Super Falcons, they're untouchable, but they need to show workings with the qualifiers and then see if they can be at the next Women's World Cup here.
All right. My colleague has left me to do the honors, so I'll just go straight to it. Very excited. We have in the house with us in the Lagos studio, Chiney Ogwumike. Of course, American basketball star, ESPN host, is with us in the Lagos studio. Chiney, thanks for joining us on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be back. I remember visiting you earlier.
All right. I don't know where to start from, but my colleague, passed the baton. So let me just quickly say this. A quick overview of women's basketball in Nigeria. You have a vantage position. You see how it's done over there, and you also know what's happening here in Nigeria. So you look at everything. Share your thoughts with us.
First of all, thank you so much for having me. It's good to be here. Women's basketball, not just in Nigeria, but throughout the world, is on the rise. I'm based in the United States, and women's basketball is succeeding. Every analytic, whether it's attendance, merchandise, star power of the players, is amazing. And that is translating to the global stage. And when it comes to African women's basketball, the Nigerian women's national team, the Tigers, are the global standard. And you think about the back-to-back champions from AfroBasket, it just shows you that skill development is there, but now we need to add more resources so that they continue to soar to new heights.
All right, before we talk about what you're here to do in Nigeria, I'm intrigued, and I want to ask, you just talked about the back-to-back winning. Is there something in our DNA back here? I mean, I know about you, a lot of people know about you, know about your sisters. Is there something about us that makes us as the women now, because I don't want to save in Nigerian sport anyway. Is there something about the ladies? Is there something peculiar aside the organization part, which we hope that the guys will get? But is there something that sets us apart?
I think there's two things. One, we know how to make lemonade out of lemons. They have achieved not because, but in spite of all the challenges that they have dealt with. And I think one thing I love about being Nigerian is that we hold ourselves to a standard of excellence no matter what people say or no matter what is presented in front of us. My dad has this amazing saying, you have the cards, but it's your choice how you play them. Life will deal you cards, but it's your choice what to do with them. And I believe the women have responded in the best way. Now, when you think about where the game is overall, there's so much opportunity to continue the growth. When I grew up playing basketball in Houston, Texas, now I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, but Nigerian parents means Nigerian home no matter where you go. When I was playing there, a lot of people questioned why we were playing sports. We had our education taken care of. We're all making, and I say we, I'm one of 4 girls. I'm number 2. I love being a middle child. And we took care of our good grades, but our parents wanted to put us into something constructive. They took a lot of heat because back then, like maybe 15 years ago, people didn't understand why girls could play sports. But now, I'm proud to say my parents were ahead of their time, because those same parents that were questioning my mom and my dad are now asking us to tutor their children because they see sports as a viable path. Now the women are getting paid more. Now they're getting more opportunities. They're getting endorsements. They're becoming their own celebrities. And it's not just women's basketball, it's women's sports overall. You know, I'm a fan of Asisat and what all our women's teams do. You know, and we support each other because we understand we're a sisterhood striving for excellence. And so right now we are the moment. We are the standard. We're proud of them. But we understand that we have so much more to do when it comes to expanding the game for women to be able to compete just like the men.
All right, let me get to Austin now.
Chiney, good to have you back again. It's always a delight whenever you come back home. It's a reminder that we need to come back and give to the system. Chiney, I see you working with the NBA and the Basketball Africa League. This your foundation. What is it up to? Can he give us new Chineys, new Ezine Kalus? Can he give us new Emi Okonkwo's? Does it have what it takes? Are you ready to go the distance?
I'll give you the real answer here because people know my foundation is called Queens of the Continent, and the goal is to crown our future champions, right? But if you think about it, Queens of the Continent is about creating winning opportunities to level the playing field. I have done camps with the NBA, NBA Africa, and I'm a Basketball Africa League ambassador. I'm the first woman to be a Basketball Africa League ambassador.
Yeah.
And I've done camps in Joburg, in Cape Town in South Africa, in Nairobi in Kenya, in Cote d'Ivoire. I actually went to AFCON, which was so much fun, and did basketball clinics there. You know, I've been to Rabat, Morocco. I have gone with President Biden as a member of his White House Council, which I was also the youngest female on that council, to Luanda, Angola, to talk about the power of sports. It's truly amazing. But one thing I've realized is that a lot of times when we do sport development, the progress goes to the young boys and the young men first. There are a lot of women here that are tall as me, even taller than me, that are super talented. We always talk about in this country about the resources, and we argue over them, you know, the ownership. The greatest resources are people, are talent. And I believe the reason why the NBA has chosen for its first ever league outside of the US to be in Africa is because they understand harnessing that to the max. There's Antetokounmpo, there's Embiid, there's Siakam. My older sister, Chiney Ogwumike, is a 10-time WNBA All-Star. There's a WNBA All-Star MVP in Enrique Agumbawale. The women have talent too. And the point of my foundation is to allow the queens to truly hold court, literally and figuratively. And lastly, I'll say this because I know you ask and you're always my friend here, so it's great to chat with you. But it's inspired by also my mom, who's a very strong woman, and she went to Queens College in Lagos. So did many of my aunts and relatives. And so to be able to have that touch point back home, to fight for winning opportunities for the next generation of young girls, that's what we're all about. But we also like to have fun. So it's not so serious. It's about empowerment, confidence, and building the next generation of future leaders.
I love it. Empowerment, confidence, and building the next generation of leaders. Chiney, I look at your profile and it's so admirable. You were first pick, I think, from Stanford University. How important is it for us to mix basketball, sports, and education? And how can your foundation help?
Education is everything. You know, I come from two parents that have different perspectives, but have the same point of view when it comes to the importance of learning and being curious. But I would say, particularly for young girls and young women, I've learned these statistics and they blew my mind. Every year that a girl advances in education, she increases her earning potential by 10%. Did you know that women invest 90% of their income back into their communities? Now, I also learned a stat back in the United States that 96% of CEOs, C-suite type of people, you know, CMOs, we have so many of those, CROs, all those types of things. 96 of them, those women, they played sports. Sports teaches you so much. It gives you confidence to lead, to develop, to learn and run a team, to understand what it's like to win, to understand how to handle failure. And so education is knowing those numbers, knowing that when you educate and you support the young generation, you're literally investing in our future. And so as much as we love to, you know, my dad always says, like, put a ball in a basket and dribble a ball, more importantly is sharing that feeling of what it's like to compete at a high level, but do it together. I'm one of 4 sisters. Everything is about sisterhood. And so that's the essence, you know, education, sisterhood, and opportunity.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, me.
All right, maybe I'll just throw one at you before we let you go. I know you're very busy and all that. But probably little young girls listening to you, and they just want to take something. They see you sitting on that chair with all you've achieved, and they're thinking, maybe one of these days I'll be like Chiney. I'll probably get to be the in the White House on the president's team and all of that. So what would you say to those young girls that could inspire them? And maybe you meet some of them in the future and they say, you inspired me.
I've met a couple of them already. And what I tell them are two things. One, know that there are people fighting for you, fighting for your opportunity, fighting for your passions, your dreams. We want more WNBA players. We want our first African Olympians. We want Nigeria to take the gold. These are goals that these young women have. And there are people that are fighting for the infrastructure, to build courts, to build arenas, to make sure you have equipment. I just came from Imo State. I'm from Imo State. And in where we were greeted by the deputy governor. She's a woman. A lot of her cabinet, a woman. You know, women. And so to be able to see the inspiring generation, not just happening in sport, but beyond that, to me, is special. So there are a lot of people at different levels fighting for girls and the youth overall, because I know it's queens of the continent, but we need kings, we need allies, we need advocates. So that's one. I want them to know that we're fighting for them. The second thing is to stand in your truth. Be confident. Own your voice. When I played basketball, I thought that the most important thing was trying to be an all-star, an MVP, a WNBA champion. I started realizing later on, when I represented who I was, used my voice, I could create more impact. And it led me to becoming a broadcaster, just like you two. Very fine broadcasters, might I say. And so to be able to stay true to your, no one can be you, no one can be more you than you. That is your superpower. And so I tell them, if you're a good dribbler, be the best dribbler. If you're a good shooter, be the best shooter. If you're a great passer, be the best passer. That is your superpower. If you can talk, my little sister calls me a professional yapper. Be the best broadcaster you can be. Find your talent and work hard, and anything is possible.
All right, I wish I could go on and on and on and on. Maybe some other time, but Chiney Ogwumike, I want to thank you for your time on the show today. Hopefully, we'll get to do this some other time.
We will. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right.